Greetings and welcome to another episode of Talking Ifa with me, Babalawo Salako. Today I want to discuss the topic, is Ifa Divination the same as a tarot card reading? So let's talk.
Greetings. I'm Babalawo Salako. I was initiated as a priest of Ifa and Obatala in Nigeria in 2006, and I've been practicing the Ifa Orisha religion for over 30 years now. My mission is simple, to help those who are new to the religion or lost in the religion. So if that's you, then buckle up and join me. This is Talking Ifa.
So first, what I wanted to do was I went and visited this thing that we call AI. I just wanted to see what AI has to say about the definitions of these. So I want to go over that first. I'm going to read the definition it gives for a tarot card reading. Then I'm going to read the definition it gives for an Ifa Divination, which is my area of focus, because that's something I do. I don't do tarot card readings per se. I have a friend that does, but I just wanted to do an overall comparison of them. So let's first look at this, what AI says a tarot card reading is. It says tarot card reading is a practice where a person uses a 78 card deck to gain insight into the past, present, or potential future, not to predict a fixed future, but to offer guidance, perspective, and a path for self-discovery. A reader draws cards, interprets their symbolic meanings within a specific layout or spread, and helps the querent or client understand their inner truths, challenges, and the choices they can make to navigate their journey. That's the overview. So let's look down here what it says, the purpose. It says the purpose of tarot readings. Number 1, self-discovery. Tarot helps individuals connect with their inner wisdom, subconscious thoughts, and higher self. 2, guidance and clarity. Readings offer guidance on current situations, potential paths, and solutions to problems. 3, perspective. The cards provide a new way of looking at issues, helping to overcome struggles and find new approaches. And 4, empowerment. The aim of a tarot reading is not to predict a fatalistic future, but to empower the questioner to make conscious choices for their path forward. Okay. Very interesting. So now let's read what it says about what is an Ifa divination and see what kind of similarities and differences AI gives. It says Ifa divination is a traditional Yoruba method of communication within the spiritual realm for guidance, using sacred texts and the interpretation of patterns made from palm nuts or cowrie shells. Practiced by a priest known as a Babalawo, the system relies on a vast literary corpus, the Odu Ifa, which provides wisdom on life, health, and spirituality through 256 unique signatures. The goal of an Ifa reading is to reveal spiritual or practical solutions to problems and help align one's life with its divine purpose. So let's see if it says, okay, so let's see what it gives as the purpose of an Ifa reading. Number 1, guidance and insight. Ifa provides insights into a person's life, helping them understand and navigate challenges and make informed decisions. 2, spiritual healing. The system is used to address both physical and spiritual illnesses by providing guidance for spiritual practices, often in the form of a sacrifice or ebo. 3, connection to purpose. The ultimate aim is to help individuals connect with their divine purpose and live a life aligned with their spiritual path. Okay, so some of these are a little similar, But in their definition, there's a little more that they're saying, and Ifa Divination does. Both help you, guide you, so-called, on your path. Ifa is more saying to get you back on your divine path, your divine purpose. It's saying that you have a divine path or purpose, and Ifa wants to get you back there. It also deals with illness, health, both physical and spiritual. That's also something that was more unique to Ifa Divination that it deals with, that tarot card readings did not. Mr. AI or Miss AI or whatever didn't say tarot cards delved into. But navigating issues in their life and understanding those challenges, they both address that. Okay? So let's delve into this a little more beyond that. So before I do that, so you can understand Ifa divination versus other forms of divination or readings, is you need to kind of know the world in which Ifa divination exists, the cosmology in which it exists, right? So the cosmology of the traditional Yoruba religion. So imagine it being like kind of like a oval or circle, the universe in the form of a circle with a line or a split or division down the middle, okay? There's also kind of a top area, and we can even say a bottom area. But the right side of that circle of the universe is represented, the good side, the good energy, the good forces in the universe. The left side, the negative or evil. You can say good versus evil, good versus bad, or you can just say constructive on the right and destructive on the left. It depends on how you want to look at it. And in this universe, we have 400 plus one Orisha on the right side, the good forces. That's also where humans reside, nature, animals, plants, etc. And on the left side are the negative forces, primarily we call the Ajogun. And there are 200 plus one Ajogun. Now, the plus one does not mean literally, mathematically, that there's 401 Orisha and 201 Ajogun or negative forces. The plus one simply means expansion, because in the Yoruba concept, they believe that the universe and Aye, the world, is made up, there's a lot of spiritual forces that exist. So they're not under the illusion that the only spiritual forces that exist are the ones that the Yoruba have identified, and that the ones that they worship. They realize there's all kinds of different people across Africa, India, all over the world. They worship entities in their geographical area. And, so the Yoruba say, okay, there's 400 plus one, meaning it leaves open for expansion. Let's just say, for example, you have people getting married. So you have a husband and wife, and they're not of the same ethnicity. Say one of them is Yoruba, the other one is somebody else, Hausa, Igbo, Zulu, some other group, right? So instead of them having conflict, they look at inclusion. So the one says, oh, do you have special deities that you and your family worship? And we have ours, you have yours. So we're a family that's joining. So we're going to acknowledge both. So teach me how to approach and worship your deities, and I'm going to still worship mine, and I'll teach you how to worship mine. And so they bring the family together. So now that plus one means, okay, so now, say it's a husband and his wife, she had 5 deities she worships. Okay, so now you're incorporating those 5. So now it's what you're worshiping is not just 400, now it's 405. It's 400. So the plus one just simply means expansion, not 401 or 201. So anyway, let's keep moving. So, and then at the top, we have Olodumare, who we look at as the highest deity in our practice. Olodumare has different names also. Olorun, owner of Orun, and this is called Orun. There's actually 2 Oruns. There's Orun above and Orun below. So Orun, you have Olodumare, right? Then you also have Eshu. Eshu is up there, and Eshu straddles the middle. Eshu is neither on the good side or the bad side. Eshu is there to govern the whole universe with the Olodumare. Okay? And you also have up there Obatala, you have Orunmila. So there's a lot of Orisha and deities, etc. So I won't go into too much detail. I talk about the cosmology in detail in another video. But in general, that's there. So let's just say humans, let's deal with humans and why we get divination. So when we exist in a room as spirits, before we come to Aye, so we also believe in reincarnation. We may come multiple times. So I'm not going to deal with reincarnation in this video. I'm just going to talk in general. So let's say you're in a room. When we're in a room, we're children, right? And we have friends, we play, and all of that. So the only way that we can become adults in a room is to come through Aye, to come to earth, be born, and live a life on earth. And what Baba, one of my teachers, Babalawo Kola Abimbola, says, he calls it the Iwa Puele test. Iwa is character. Puele, we can say gentle character, good and gentle character. And that's the goal that we have, is to reach a state of Iwa Puele, good and gentle character. To do that, we have to come through the trials and tribulations, or what Baba calls the Iwa Puele test, living through earth. So as a child, when they finally say, okay, I'm ready to grow up, I want to be an adult too. So they decide they want to come here. So there's a process. Part of that process is they have to get a divination before they come. They should get an ebo. The divination is mandatory. The ebo is optional, meaning they're giving free will to decide if they're going to do the ebo or not before they come to Aye. But then another requirement is they have to pick their head, or in Yoruba it's called Ori. There's a spiritual head they have to pick and their physical head. So they go to Ajala's house. Okay, and Ajala lives on the compound or around Olodumare. And so Ajala, I won't get into details on that, but Ajala is not always there when they come to choose. Ajala molds the heads, is the craftsman to create heads. But when a child comes, they, like a child in general, if you send a child into a store, they're going to want this shiny thing, this candy, or what glitters, and looks cool. That's what they're going to want. They're not at a level to be able to analyze and come in and say, okay, is this well made? Is it sturdy? Is this ori, is this head going to be last and do well? Is it have, uh, even thinking and riches in it or whatever? They're not able to do that, so they just look and see what they think is cool or looks good, and they grab it and they choose they select their head, their ori. So then they come here, but then their ori, though, when they select it, is all of the good things that their ori has in store for them when they come here. They can choose a bad ori. Some people believe there's no bad oris. Some do. I'm not going to argue that here, but in general, you can choose one with a lot of flaws. I'll put it like that. And you could choose an ori that your destiny is to keep you in poverty the whole time, or blah blah blah, right? Or it could be you could be the president of the United States or something. So you choose your ori as a child, and then you come through the rest of the path. Part of that is to go to the tree of forgetfulness, so you don't remember any of the things before when you come to Aye as a baby and a child and you grow up in Aye. Because you forget everything, then you don't know or remember what are the things in your ori that you chose. What are the good things there for you, right? So Ifa Divination can help with that, right? So, but we'll get into that in a minute. So basically you pick your ori that has things in it that can be labeled as your path. There's some things, concepts that you may see if you're doing research on this online. You'll see it always associated with destiny, but I don't look at it as destiny, because destiny is predetermined to happen no matter what. So let me give you an example. If you had in your ori to be the president of the United States at age 35, and you knew that, okay, or even if you didn't, but if you came here and you was thinking whatever, or if you knew I'm going to be the president at age 35, let's use that example. So if you knew that and you said, okay, at 35, I'm going to be, elected or coronated or the presidency. So you may sit around, drop out of high school, don't go to college, don't start a business, just sit at home playing video games all day. Because you said, okay, it's my destiny that I'm going to be the president. So at age 35. So then all of a sudden on your 35th birthday, you jump up and say, okay, world, I'm ready. I'm ready to be president. I don't have any experience. I don't know anything. I barely read. I didn't prepare for this. I didn't run for it. I don't even have to go for election. I'm going to be the president because that's my destiny. So therefore, I don't believe that. That's why I don't look at what's in your destiny. So if you see that, just know my opinion is that is not correct. It is not destiny. I look at it as your highest potentials, or the good things that your ori has in store for you, you can achieve in your path, right? But and you may not achieve them if you don't go on the right path. That's one of the main things about Ifa Divination, right? It can get you on your path. The goal of Ifa Divination, of course, is never just to make you rich, unless that's already in your path. If that's in your ori to be rich or to win the lottery, then okay, fine. But most of us, that's not the case. So we need to know if we're on our right path. What is our divine path that we should be on? So Ifa Divination, when we go, one of the main reasons is to say, okay, are you on your path? Are you moving in the right direction at this time? point in your life, or are you not? Are you off-centered? Or are you way off? And we need to give you remedies on how to get back on your right path. That's one of the aspects of Ifa Divination, right? So let me just go through the process and some of that there. But the other thing I mentioned there, well, let me go through the process and it'll kind of show you some of the things Ifa Divination do. So let's say, what is the difference between a reading and divination? So Ifa Divination is really an Ifa reading. It's a reading. And that reading is made up of multiple divinations. So when I say Ifa Divination, I'm really just saying that as a term to mean all of the divinations that are involved in it. I'm just lumping it as one, Ifa Divination. But technically it's an Ifa reading made up of multiple divinations. So what are some of those divinations? The very first divination is to mark the signature or the holy Odu that Ifa is revealing for you. So as a client, you come and you're given something to pray and ask Ifa what you're asking for. I use the Ifa, the sacred palm nuts of Ifa, and the client whispers, so I don't hear it, whispers what they're asking Ifa for help with. So then when I cast, I'm not casting it first. If I'm using a king, or you can cast with a Pele. So whatever you're using as a diviner, the first goal is, the first divination is to mark the holy Odu. The Odu itself is an Orisha. Each Odu is an Orisha. And so that Odu and that spirit and energy of that Odu is revealed based on what you ask Ifa for. So Ifa is saying, okay, this is an Odu that can give you the remedy for your situation, answers to your questions. Okay, so that Odu is revealed. That's the first divination. But that's not the end. That is a divination. So what I do next is to find out what's called the orientation, or the energy that's coming with that. Now, this is another divination for a different purpose. Again, the first one is to mark the holy Odu. The second one is to find out what is the energy around you at this time or accompanying this Odu. And it may be in total conflict or different. It's giving you different information than what the Odu itself may give you. It's like additional information. So it may say, it may come negative and say, oh, illness is surrounding you at this point that you may need to address. And then as a diviner, once I find out the orientation or the energy that's accompanying, I may then need to further in that divination to find out, why that energy, exactly pinpoint more details on where that energy is coming from. Is it coming from Arun? Is it coming from Earth, Aye? Is it coming from humans? Is it in the spiritual realm, et cetera, et cetera? So I have to inquire more to find out, what is accompanying that energy. Okay. Then that's a second divination I do. The third divination I do most of the time is then find out who is the Orisha, or which Orisha or which entity wants to come and work on your behalf the most. Then what Orisha, or it doesn't have to be an Orisha, it could be your ancestors, it could be Egbe or whatever. Which one really is there that wants to come and help you with your situation? So that's the third divination I do. Fourth divination I do is then to find out, okay, what is that entity? require or requesting in terms of an offering or sacrifice above, for them to do the work for you, because in this concept you pay for everything you get, right? It's a system of exchange, so if you're asking someone to do something for you, then you need to do something for them. You need to compensate. It's a system of exchange, like bartering. So then you find that out. Then I find that out, right? Then after I find out that Orisha or entity, what they want, then then another divination is to find out in general what other entities want to come and help you with your situation, right? And we find that out in what they want, okay? Then I interpret the messages of the initial divination, or the initial divination was to find out the guiding and Odu that's revealed, now to give messages from that Odu. So now you come back to that and answer any questions. And the final step is to actually perform the Ebo, to do the offerings that will complete the divination process. So if you notice, like the second one where you're finding out the orientation, the energy. So you might find out if there's illness there or anything else and how you need to deal with it. So as a diviner, then I'm trying to get that information so I can then prescribe, just like doctors prescribe, solutions for you. Meaning, well, okay, so you have illness hovering around you on the spiritual realm. Okay, so then I have to do remedies for that. So the physical realm, give suggestions and things for that. It deals from everything from if there's curses on you or just blockages and obstacles that need to be removed, blah, blah, blah. So all of that in an Ifa divination, we're trying to discover and find out to help give solutions and remedies to your situations or issues. So in that situation, in that instance, you should be able to clearly see that an Ifa divination does a lot more. It's a lot more targeted in different areas. It covers more of a wide range of things. And again, the overall thing for all of it is to get you on your path to success. So if your path is down here and all of a sudden illnesses jumps in the way, that's an obstacle, then you need to deal with that illness to get that out of the way as an obstacle for you to have a long, happy, healthy life. Because the good things in life, or the arrays that we look at in this Ifa religion, the top arrays that is number one is usually owo, or money or wealth or things, not meaning it is the top array that you need to just chase money. It's really for the following. Because the main purpose or the main focus in Ifa is family, right? It's family. That's the core of any village, town, state, country. You start at family because a man and a woman get together and have children. And then you can grow family, you can grow villages, you can grow cities. Without that, you won't have any of those things. So that in Ifa, that's one of the core tenets. So the thing is about money usually coming first is because it's saying you should get the money first before you get a spouse and marry and before you start having children. Because your life's going to be a lot easier that way. If you go get a spouse first while you're broke, have children while you're broke, you're struggling to feed your children, your life is a lot harder. So Ifa is just saying, okay, for the good life, you should have some money first. Not saying you have to be rich, but you need to have enough money to take good care of your family. So your wife, then, and your children, right? And then the fourth array, so like I said, the first, money. Second is a good spouse. Third is having children. And then the fourth is to have a long, healthy life. Those are the top four primary. Now, I've seen one recently where somebody said the fifth one was protection from enemies. I don't know if that is actually the fifth one. There's a lot of arrays. It's not just the four I mentioned. I mean, there's hundreds and hundreds of arrays that people can have in life. I'm just talking about in Yoruba concept, what are the top ones. But in Ifa, in the Odu Ifa, the essay, protection from enemies comes up a lot. So it is a primary topic, no doubt. I don't know if it's the fifth array, but it is a strong topic because a lot of our issues that we have are from enemies. And those enemies can be from the spiritual realm. They can be from the person, the physical realm, humans, enemies blocking our progress or, doing what they can to sabotage what we do. So that comes up a lot in Ifa. So no doubt that is very important in Ifa. Regardless of whether it's actually the fifth array or not, it's not really important. So I just want to look here and make sure I'm covering everything here. So that's basically what I wanted to say here today. So again, the tarot card readings and the Ifa Divination both want to help give you guidance on getting you on your correct path in life. They want to try to give you some answers to some of your situations that you're having. They both want to do those things. But Ifa Divination goes a lot further. It gets a lot more detailed. But nothing wrong with tarot card. I have a god brother who is actually a Babalawo, but he was doing tarot card readings for years and years before he got initiated and became a Babalawo. So he still does tarot card readings. So a lot of times he'll do a tarot card reading just to get, some general, what is the general energy or feeling around that person. And then he does the Ifa Divination to go into more detail for that person. So anyway, I hope that was of some benefit to you. And if you had questions about that, I hope that cleared that up about an Ifa Divination. What is that versus tarot card reading? I'm not saying anything negative about tarot card readings. They're fine, but they don't go into as much detail. Another thing about Ifa Divination is it identifies specific entities, deities, Orisha, ancestors, Egbe, that may want to come and help you, or there's issues there, and specifically what you need to give them in exchange for them helping you. So it's much more targeted and precise, and there are different Orisha that may deal with different things, right? Like Ogun opens up the roads, for instance. Osayi is herbologist for Ifa medicine. Of course, Rumula does Ifa medicine. Oshun, childbirth. A lot of people go to Oshun if they want a child, they want to get pregnant. So there are different specific, Risha that may specialize in certain areas. And so we can, basically enlist them directly to help you with your situation. So it's, like I said, it's much more specific, much more in depth, but you do have to give them something in exchange. You do have to do the sacrifices or ebo, whereas tarot card readings don't have sacrifice or ebo. You just get general information about, maybe you should stay in this relationship or not, or blah, blah, blah. But you're not going and requesting assistance from specific entities and then giving them some in exchange, and then they go to work for you. So I hope that adds some clarity to that. And if you have any other questions, you can reach out to me in my in the video description here on YouTube. I have my contact information if you want to reach out, or you can make comments here. So hopefully you join me on the next video, the next topic of Talking Ifa. And you have a blessed rest of your day. Ireo.